The poets descend into the seventh circle, which is guarded by the Minotaur. At the base of the embankment, they meet the centaurs, led by Chiron, who shoot arrows at murderers standing in the river Phlegethon, a boiling stream as red as blood. The centaur Nessus identifies the sinners and carries Dante across the ford. This descent was a jagged, bouldered one, and, for the loathsome thing before the bank, a place which any eye would gladly shun, as at the slips of mark that struck the flank of the river Adige, this side of Trent, because of earthquake or support too weak. To the plain from every mountain top, the rock face is so smashed in and destroyed, it makes a path for someone up above. Such was the way to go down this gorge here. And at the ruptured margin of the ditch, there lay sprawled out the infamy of Crete, conceived within the counterfeited cow. And when he saw us two, he champed his lips, as one who's crushed and half consumed with wrath. Turning to him, my wise one cried, "Perhaps you think you've got the Duke of Athens here, the one who slew you in the world above." Clear away, beast, for this man has not come taught by your clever sister and her clue, but goes about to view your punishments. And as a bull who snapped his harness ropes when the death blows already set him reeling, he cannot charge, but bucks his way in that. So did I see the furious Minotaur. "Run to the gap," the wary poet cried. "Better go down while he's blind with rage." We picked our way then, down that garbage dump of fallen rocks, which slid and shifted as I trod on them with unaccustomed weight. He noticed I was thinking as I walked. This ruin guarded by the bestial wrath I doused just now. Perhaps you're wondering how it collapsed. Know, then, that other time when I descended to the deepest hell, the cliff had not yet crumbled, but not long, as far as I can judge, before he came who made the glorious raid on Lucifer and raised up spirits from the highest ring. Every side of this deep and stinking hole shivered as if the universe felt love, which some believe as often turned the world back to the chaos of its origin. And at that instant, this old cliffside here, and elsewhere, shook and toppled. But look down, fix your eyes on the valley, for we draw near to the river of blood, which seethes all men, who injured others by their violence. O foolish wrath and blind cupidity, that dig their spurs in through us, through our short lives, then cruelly drench us for eternity. I saw a deep moat bent into an arc, so that its arms encircled the whole plain. As my escort had said, between this moat and the foot of the cliff, hot on the trace ran centaurs armed with arrows for their bows, as in the world they galloped at the chase. When they saw us come down, they stopped at once, and 3 of their platoon approached us with bows slung, and arrows picked to fly. And one cried from afar, "You who descend the banks, which of the tortures have you come for? Tell from where you stand, if not, I draw my bow." "We will make our response," my teacher said, "to Chiron when we reach him. As for you, your will was always hot, to your own harm." He nudged me, saying, "That's one Nessus, who died for his theft of lovely Danaera." and made himself a vengeance for himself. He in the middle, gazing at his chest, is great Chiron, who nursed and raised Achilles. The other, Pholus, ever filled with wrath. They go by thousands round about the moat, shooting the souls who try to pluck themselves out of the blood more than their faults allot. So he approached these quick and sleek-limbed beasts. Chiron took out a dart, and with the fledge smoothed back the beard from both sides of his jaws. When he had thus uncovered his large mouth, he said to his companions, "Have you marked how things move at the touch of him in black? The feet of dead men are not known for that. And my good guide beside his chest by now, where the two natures meld in company, replied, 'He is alive indeed, and I must show him the dark valley all alone, not for delight, but by necessity. One left her song of Alleluia to give me this strange commission I fulfill. He is no thief, nor I a thieving soul, but by that power through which I move my steps along so wild a trail of savagery, give us one of your troop to keep beside us, to show us where to wade across the stream, and carry this one here upon his croup. He is no spirit walking through the air.' Chiron then turned aside by his right beast, and said to Nessus, 'Go back. Be their guide. If troops get in your way, make them clear out.' Along the bubbling of the blood-red stream, now with the trusty escort we moved on, where all the boiling spirits shriek and scream. I saw some people plunged up to the brow. 'These are the tyrants,' the huge centaur said, 'who thrust their hands for plunder and for blood. Here they wail for their ruthlessness and crime. Here's Alexander and fierce Dionysus, who grieved his Sicily so long a time. That forehead there, whose fur is so jet black, is Azzolino. And the blond one there, Obizzo, of the Estes, for a fact. He was snuffed by his bastard son above.' At that I turned to the poet, but he said, 'Let him speak to you first now. I will follow.' A little further on the centaur stopped, beside a band who struck out to the throat above that seething river. To one side he pointed out a solitary shade. 'That spirit, sabred in the lap of God, the heart that still drips blood besides the themes.' Then I saw people lifting from the brew, the head and all the trunk besides. Of these I recognized the forms of quite a few. At very step the blood subsided so, until it cooked only the spirit's feet. That was our crossing for the realms below. 'Just as you see the bubbling river here grow shallower as we go,' the centaur said, 'you should know too that farther down the moat the riverbed sinks lower, step by step, until you reach the deeper holes again, where they who practiced tyranny must groan. The divine justice skewers on that side Attila the Hun, who was a scourge on earth, Pyrrhus and Sextus, and perpetually squeezes the tears from these boiling waves, on bar from Renier Pezzo and Renier Cornetto, who waged their bitter war as highwaymen.' We reached the banks. He turned and crossed the ford.